Unit 9, page 84. Reading. Exercise 5.
Dream jobs. Have you ever imagined the perfect job? What would you choose? Here are 3 that would be on our list. The sweetest job.
Swizzles is a company in Britain that makes sweets. The sweets are made in the company's factory near Manchester in the north of England, and they're eaten by kids all over the country. Harry Wilshire is one of the company's employees, but he's only 12 years old. His job is probably the best job in the factory. He's the company's official sweet tester. When a new sweet is invented, it's made in a special department in the factory, all very secret. Then the new sweet is sent to Harry's house for him to test. He eats it, writes a report about it, and sends his report to the factory. And then a decision is made about whether to make the sweet or not. Is Harry paid for the job? Well, no, he isn't paid because he's too young to work for money. But he gets free sweets. Harry says, "When I started the job, I felt like I was in the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory." Harry has got a special uniform and business cards. He's got a really sweet job, you might say.
Desert island blogger.
Would you like to look after an island in the Pacific Ocean? Almost 35,000 people applied for the job, but Ben Southall got it. How was the winner chosen? Well, after Ben showed that he was good at blogging and swimming, there was an interview. He was asked lots of questions to see if he had the right kind of personality for the job. And he did. So, what did Ben have to do in this job? It was hard work. He had to live on his own in a 3-bedroom villa with a swimming pool on Hamilton Island and spend every day swimming, exploring and relaxing. Then he had to write a blog to promote the area. Ben was paid $111,000 for 6 months' work. The people he worked for liked his work very much. After he finished on Hamilton Island, he became tourism ambassador for the state of Queensland, Australia.
Sleeping on the job.
Usually, sleeping on the job is a big problem for an employee. If you fall asleep, you'll be fired. But Rasheen Madigan from Birmingham, UK, was paid to sleep on the job. She tested luxury beds. Rasheen was paid £1,000 to sleep in designer beds every day for a month. A company that makes beds for luxury hotels wanted to know more about what makes a good night's sleep. Rasheen was selected to spend up to 8 hours a day in a bed and then write about it. Over 600 people applied for the job, but they weren't chosen, of course. It was only Rasheen who got to sleep on the job.
Unit 9, page 86. Pronunciation. Exercise 1.
If I could be anything, I'd choose to be a journalist. What about you, Jane?
Journalism's a very dangerous job, Charlie. I'm going to be a chess player.
You've changed your mind. You wanted to be a geography teacher.
Yes, I've just joined a chess club. My coach thinks I've got a good chance of becoming a champion.
Unit 9, page 86. Pronunciation. Exercise 3.
If I could be anything, I'd choose to be a journalist. What about you, Jane?
Journalism's a very dangerous job, Charlie. I'm going to be a chess player.
You've changed your mind. You wanted to be a geography teacher.
Yes, I've just joined a chess club. My coach thinks I've got a good chance of becoming a champion.
Unit 9, page 87. Listening. Exercises 3 and 4.
And here we are looking at the world of work and jobs. Now, sometimes it's not easy to get a job, and it can be much, much harder to find a job if you have a disability. For example, if you need to use a wheelchair or you are blind. But of course, there are lots of disabled people who have very successful careers. We shouldn't forget that not long ago, Britain had a Minister for Education who was blind. Every day this week, we're talking to people with disabilities about their jobs. And today, Mike Lawley meets Marina Stewart.
Marina, when you were born, you already had problems with your eyes. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I could only see partially, and when I was 18, I had an operation to get rid of the problems. Unfortunately, the operation went badly wrong, and I was left completely blind.
So, what about your education?
Well, I went to a special school for blind people, and then I went to college. But somehow, the teachers at the college for blind people just didn't think we could get good, interesting jobs.
You mean the teachers didn't think you were going to be successful? That's terrible.
I know. And so I didn't really know what to do. I got a job in a shop, but I hated it. I stayed because I felt that, because I was blind, I really didn't have much choice.
But one day, all that changed, right?
Yes. I was in a cafe in London, and by accident, I met someone who was in the theatre. We talked a bit, and I found out that he was the director of a group of disabled actors. He invited me to go to a workshop, and I went. I loved it, and soon I started doing real acting.
Then what?
Well, after working in the theatre, I got an offer to work in television for the first time. I worked in 2 or 3 television films, and I'm happy to say that one of them won an award.
Acting isn't the only thing that you do, is it?
No, I also love music, and I play the piano, and I give piano lessons at home to small children. It's wonderful. I love it almost as much as acting.
So, it looks like that teacher was wrong. It is possible for a disabled person to be successful in the world of work. Is that right?
Yes, it is. When I was young, when I was a child and a teenager, no one thought I could do much. And it was hard to imagine what jobs I could do. But I fought hard, and the most important thing is, I didn't let being blind get in my way. I've always wanted people to think of me as Marina Stewart. That's all. I'm Marina first, and then I'm a blind person.
Unit 9, page 90. Photo Story, Episode 5. For a Good Cause.
Hi, Olivia. What happened to you yesterday?
Oh, I just didn't feel very good. I'm all right now, though. By the way, here's your book back, Ryan.
Oh, thanks. Well, you missed the new headmistress's announcement yesterday.
Oh, what about?
We've been asked to do something for charity.
Miss Dawes wants to raise money for the playground in the park. They really need some new things.
We thought the 4 of us could do something together. Want to join us, Olivia?
Well, yes, that'd be great. As long as we can have some fun too.
That's not the point, Olivia. It's not about fun. It's about raising money for a good cause.
Okay, but what are we going to do?
That's a good question. Ideas, anyone? What can we do to raise some money? A long walk? Overnight or something?
Could be dangerous at night.
What about a sponsored book read?
Oh, what?
We all try to read as many books as possible in, say, 2 days, And people give us money for doing it.
Oh, no thanks. Surely we can think of something better than that.
Look at that. Our teachers' cars are so dirty.
Ugh, you're right. They could all use a trip to the car wash, but the only one in town has been closed for a while.
That's it. A car wash.
Good idea. We'll set everything up right here and people will pay us to wash their cars.
That sounds great. Megan?
Sure. Let's tell Miss Dawes. Then we can go and find buckets and sponges.
Unit 10, page 92. Reading. Exercise 4.
8,000 birds to see before you die. Phoebe Snetzinger had just returned from a trip to Alaska when her doctors told her that she had cancer. She had less than a year to live. Phoebe was 50. As soon as she heard the news, she decided to spend the rest of her life doing what she loved most, watching birds. She immediately went off to some of the world's most amazing natural paradises. Her trips were extremely hard. But Phoebe surprised her doctors and her family as she carried on travelling. A year came and went, and she was still alive. She was doing something that she loved, and that helped her to be healthy for another 10 years. The cancer came back, but even then, Phoebe Snetzinger decided not to stop. As she continued with her trips, the cancer went away again. By now, she was becoming internationally famous in the birdwatching world. At the age of 61, when she had seen 7,530 species, she was named the world's leading bird spotter by the Guinness Book of Records. 4 years later, during a trip to Mexico, she set a new record when she spotted species number 8,000, the very rare rufous-necked woodrail. Snetzinger had become a legend. Nobody had spotted so many different bird species before. In fact, at that time, only 12 people around the world had seen more than 7,000 species of birds. Phoebe's interest in birdwatching started in Minneapolis. Then she moved to Missouri with her family. There, she joined a group of people who were interested in birds, insects and plants around the Mississippi River. She became very worried about pollution and its impact on the environment. "We have to protect nature," she said. "If we don't, future generations won't be able to enjoy watching these beautiful birds." Sadly, when Phoebe was 68, she died in a car accident on the island of Madagascar off the East African coast. She was there enjoying the hobby that had probably saved her life. She had been there for 2 weeks and had added another 5 to her list of over 8,400 species. 4 years after she died, the American Birding Association published her memoirs, Birding on Borrowed Time. Many people have enjoyed reading this moving book. It isn't just a story about a bird spotter's travels, but a touching human document of how her hobby helped her to live much longer than expected.
Unit 10, page 95. Listening. Exercises 1 and 2.
Hi everyone. What I'm going to talk about today is keeping fit. You already know that doing exercise is good for you, that it helps you to strengthen muscles and to control your weight and all that sort of thing. That's all important, of course, but today I'm going to talk about reasons for keeping fit that you might not know about. Okay, so the official title of my talk is 4 reasons why it's good to be fit that maybe you didn't know about. And here goes with the first reason. Exercise makes you happy. Scientists have just discovered that regular exercise doesn't only help you with your physical health, it also helps with your mental health. There is a clear link between lack of movement and depression. Listen to this. Walking for 1.5 miles a day can help you feel much better about yourself, and that won't take you more than 20 minutes. Therefore, regular exercise helps you to become a happy person. Point number 2. Exercise protects you from colds. In a study, they showed that people who do some kind of exercise 5 days a week have 50% fewer colds than people who don't do exercise at all. The reason is that regular exercise strengthens your immune system, and that helps you fight against colds and other infections. And even if you fall ill, regular exercise can help you get better again much faster. Point number 3. Exercise is good for your memory. You have all heard about those terrible illnesses that some people get when they become older, such as dementia. Dementia means that you can't remember facts and faces anymore. A person who suffers from dementia forgets everything. They don't even recognize the people in their own family anymore. Now, the good news is that regular exercise helps to keep the brain strong as we get older. And last but not least, point 4, exercise is good for your heart. Exercise gives you a healthy heart, so you should exercise regularly. If you do, you reduce the risk of dying from a heart attack by almost a half compared to people who don't do any sport. Exercise is only one of the things to remember. Of course, other factors are important too, healthy eating, for example, but the key point is exercise.
Unit 10, page 97. Pronunciation. Exercise 1.
Welcome back to the show. We're in the kitchen today with our chef Mitchell.
Hello. In this demonstration, I'm making a special Russian dish.
Watch carefully, everyone, as Chef Mitchell makes the dish you see in this picture.
Patricia, please put the oven at the right temperature while I chop the cherries. Now we add the sugar, but you shouldn't use too much. And now it's ready to bake.
And here's a finished one. It tastes delicious.
Unit 10, page 97. Pronunciation. Exercise 3.
Welcome back to the show. We're in the kitchen today with our chef Mitchell.
Hello. In this demonstration, I'm making a special Russian dish.
Watch carefully, everyone, as Chef Mitchell makes the dish you see in this picture.
Patricia, please put the oven at the right temperature while I chop the cherries. Now we add the sugar, but you shouldn't use too much. And now it's ready to bake.
And here's a finished one. It tastes delicious.
Unit 10, page 98. Culture. Exercise 2.
Keeping healthy. Stories from around the world. Running for fun. Running regularly helps you keep fit. That's why millions of people run several days a week and regularly take part in races. Some runners combine the sport with doing something good for others. They collect money for their run and give it to a charity. Some charity runners run a full marathon dressed in a crazy costume to collect more money for their charity. Travis Snyder from the US had been thinking for some time about an idea for a fun run where professionals and amateurs could run together. In 2012, he organised the first colour run, the happiest 5K on the planet. What started with 6,000 participants in Phoenix, Arizona, is now held annually in many cities around the world with millions of runners. The idea is simple. You start wearing something white, and at every kilometre, people spray and paint you in different colours. 1K is yellow, 2K is blue, 3K is green, 4K is pink, a colour extravaganza. Why do people go on a colour run? Because it's healthy, fun and colourful, as one runner put it. A beautiful morning in the park. The scene you can see in this photo is something you will see in many parks in China. Big groups of people doing Tai Chi, slow, controlled movements of the arms and legs. These movements are very good for your health. They help to overcome stress, and people doing Tai Chi say it helps them to concentrate better and to feel happy and relaxed. On weekdays, you will often see elderly people doing Tai Chi, but at weekends, the parks are full of families, including children. They are all practicing these elegant movements together. Ice swimming. Imagine it's minus 15 degrees Celsius outside on a sunny Saturday afternoon, and you are somewhere in Russia or Finland. Would you rather see a film with a friend, go for a walk and enjoy the beautiful snow, or go for a swim in the nearby river? Not many of our readers would choose to go for a swim in such low temperatures, but in Russia, Finland and other countries, ice swimming has been popular for centuries. Some people say it's very healthy because it improves blood circulation and strengthens the body's immune system. Doctors say these things may be true, but you have to be very brave to try it. And it's only for people who are already fit and healthy.
Units 9 and 10, page 100. Cambridge English, Preliminary. Listening Part 3. Exercise 2.
If you're aged 16 or 17 and facing the long summer holidays with little or nothing to do, then listen carefully, because this might be just the thing for you. The Daily Post newspaper is looking for young people to fill their junior apprenticeship positions. That's right, if you are interested in a career in journalism, then this is your chance to get some valuable, hands-on experience at one of the oldest newspapers in the world. There are a total of 5 positions, 2 for trainee journalists, 2 for trainee photographers, and 1 position as a junior assistant editor. No experience is necessary, and full training will be given on the job. Successful applicants will be expected to work a 20-hour week. Working hours will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays and Fridays, and from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that means you don't have to work on Wednesdays. You might have to work at the weekend sometimes, but the good news is that you'll be paid extra for weekend work. The paper is offering £5 an hour. Each position is for 4 weeks, starting on Monday the 28th of July. And if you really impress them, you might be offered a part-time contract to work weekends during term time. This is an excellent opportunity to get a foot in the door of one of the most competitive careers there is. If you're interested, application forms can be downloaded from the Daily Post website, or you can find a copy in the newspaper itself every day this week. For more information, phone Robin on 0184 6780. That's Robin on 0184 6780, and he will give you all the information you need. Go on, do it.
Unit 11, page 102. Reading. Exercise 5.
April Fool's Day. In 1957, the BBC news programme Panorama told its viewers that Swiss farmers were enjoying a really good year for their spaghetti crop. They showed a film of the farmers picking the pasta from their trees. Many people believed the story, and some of them even phoned up the BBC to ask how they could grow their own spaghetti tree. The date, of course, was April the 1st, or April Fool's Day, the day when people in many countries across the world like to play jokes on each other. April the 1st seems to be very popular with journalists. They have the extremely important job of reporting the news to us. For 364 days a year, they need to be serious. But for one day a year, they allow themselves to forget this responsibility for a few minutes and have a bit of fun trying to fool their readers or viewers. There are many great examples of funny April Fool's Day jokes from the newspapers and TV. For example, in 2008, BBC News claimed that penguins could fly. It said that their cameraman had seen this happen while filming at the South Pole. He said that luckily he had filmed the event, and they showed some video of penguins taking off and flying through the air. Of course, the BBC later admitted they had made up the whole story and used special effects to create the film. In 1981, the Daily Mail had a story about a Japanese runner in the London Marathon. The man was still running days after the race had finished. The story explained that the athlete had misunderstood the rules of the race. Instead of running for 26 miles, he believed he needed to run for 26 days. The paper said that he was lost somewhere in the middle of the British countryside. And there's certainly nothing new about these types of stories. Back in 1878, the Daily Graphic newspaper in the USA had a story about the famous scientist Thomas Edison. It told its readers that Edison had invented a food machine that would feed the human race. It didn't explain how the machine worked, just that it would make any kind of food using air, water, and earth. Many people believed the story, and Edison got letters from people all over the country. It's not just journalists who enjoy trying to fool us. Many big companies have joined in the fun over the years. In 1998, a famous fast food restaurant used a whole-page advert in one of the daily newspapers to tell us that it was going to sell a hamburger for left-handed people. It said that the new burger was just the same as the normal burger, but they had turned all the ingredients 180 degrees in the bun. They said it would be easier for left-handed people to eat. Thousands of people went to restaurants to try and buy one. So when people tell you not to believe everything you read in the newspapers, they might be right, especially on April the 1st.
Unit 11, page 105. Listening. Exercises 2 and 3.
Some journalists report on politics, some report from football grounds, some journalists report from the law courts, others report on wars from the other side of the world. Warren Faidley is a journalist with a difference. He's an extreme weather journalist. Don't confuse him with a weatherman who studies the weather and predicts what's going to happen tomorrow. Warren is a weather journalist. He's there when the weather is the news. For more than 25 years, he's been following and filming tornadoes and blizzards, giant hailstorms and floods. Wherever there is bad weather, Warren Faidley is never far behind. An extreme weather journalist is always close to danger. Of course, Warren always tries to stay safe. He doesn't look for trouble, but trouble always seems to find him. In his career, he's had many last-minute escapes. The closest he ever came to death, however, was when he was a 12-year-old child. He was by the side of a river with a friend watching a flood, Suddenly, the side of the river collapsed and he found himself in the fast-flowing, muddy floodwaters. He thought he was dead, but luckily he managed to grab onto a rock and pull himself out of the water. Warren's interest in extreme weather began when he was a small child. In his autobiography, Storm Chaser, he describes several occasions when he came face to face with scary weather conditions. For example, there was one time when he and his father were chased by a huge storm while they were out sailing in a small boat. His father later told him he thought they were going to die. Warren was always interested in photography, and at college he worked as a part-time photojournalist. He reported from many dangerous places and quickly learned how to use a film camera in difficult conditions. His lucky break came when one day he took an amazing photo of lightning striking a gas farm. The photo was published by Life magazine, and suddenly everyone was interested in his work. Warren was now able to follow his dream and become a weather journalist. These days, Warren is often seen on American TV news programs reporting on incidents of extreme weather. He's also become an expert on how to survive in these situations and has written a book called The Ultimate Storm Survival Handbook, based on his experiences. He's also started a charity called the Storm Angel Foundation, which helps educate children about the dangers of extreme weather.
Unit 11, page 107. Pronunciation. Exercise 1.
Could you put your bag down over there, please?
Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Yes, could you put your bag down over there?
I mean, could you repeat that politely?
I'm terribly sorry. Could you put your bag down over there, please?
Unit 11, page 107. Pronunciation. Exercise 3.
Could you put your bag down over there, please?
Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Yes, could you put your bag down over there?
I mean, could you repeat that politely?
I'm terribly sorry. Could you put your bag down over there, please?